Hey guys, Sportshot here, and today we're going to be doing a video on my settings and how they actually help. But before we do, we have the winner from the 100KR giveaway, Mech from Discord, but he has a creative name, so we're going to have to kind of blur that out so we don't get demonetized. So there we go. And now let's get into the video. Oh, and we are going to be doing the 100KR giveaway in this video too, so make sure that you leave a comment with your username in the comments down below as normal, and let's get into the video. The first and arguably most important setting here will definitely be your performance settings, because no matter your movement or your aim, you can't have good movement or aim if your performance settings aren't good. So I like to keep my game simple, but I like to look a little bit good because my computer can run it. So I keep my resolution at 2, just so I can see it, because every pixel counts. You'll be able to see people like their hands go across a doorway, and you'll see them the more pixels you have, because if you're down to like this, you're not going to see them as quick. You might even be up to like half a second delayed. So I definitely like to keep my resolution all the way up, plus it just looks better. Keep my frame cap at 0 because I can get the most frame rate that I can get in the game, and I don't mind the little bit of screen tearing that I get. Aspect ratio, I just keep it as the same on my monitor. And with here, all I do is I put on particles and the bullet trails. So with the bullet trails, you can see where sniper bullets come in, so you definitely wanna keep that up. And then with the particles, you're gonna see like bullet holes and the gas come out of a gun, so you're definitely gonna want to keep that on so you can see enemies more clearly. But everything else is just purely aesthetic, so I generally keep that down so my lag spikes aren't as bad when they do happen. And as we get into interface here, I like to keep my UI scale down a lot more, just because I can see more of the actual screen itself, and I just like the UI being a lot smaller. It just looks neater to me. And then also, if we get to UI, obviously I'm going to want to keep that on. Dynamic HP bars, I just keep that on. It's kind of aesthetic. So I'm going to be doing more of the important settings, and I'll just be glossing over the ones that don't really matter. But interface has a lot of important stuff. So show damage, I'm going to keep that on to see, did I get a headshot, how much damage did I do to the person, what is their like exact health, stuff like that. Damage scale, I keep it at 0.5, keeps it small so it doesn't blur out everything else, because I'll show you, if you put it at 2 and you go into a game and start damaging people, it's gonna take up your entire screen. So I like to keep that down to around 0.5, 0.4 in that area, so it won't just take up the entire thing. And then I like to keep all of my information on so I can see my kill stats, my movement speed, my FPS, my ping, stuff like that. I can see kinda when somebody gets a kill around the map, you can hear the gunshots and you will be able to tell who it is and where they are, just by matching up the timing between the shots and the kill feed. And then also with the X and Y offset for my speed, the speed is a yellow number at the bottom, well, not the bottom of my screen, it's in between the bottom of my screen and my crosshair, which is a little purple cross in the middle of my screen. You can see it's 0 now. I like to keep that there just in the middle, because it's kind of out of the way of my crosshair, so it won't interfere with my aiming in any way, but also it will still tell me the speed so I can see what speed I'm actually going at. And then I also keep medals on just so I can see what I did to get the kill. And then name tag, I like to keep it on with everyone and everything, just in case, well, you know, you can see where your teammates are, you can see where your enemies are. Definitely useful. And now moving on to crosshair here, it's pretty simple. I just have it as always show, so I know where I'm aiming, obviously. And then my image, well, I have it set to an image in the first place, and my image, it's you can see it's a little purple cross there. I got it from, I think, Phase Sorable. I think I got it from his settings. But my settings are kind of just a heavily modified version of his, just because I really like the Phase Sniper scope and the Phase Crosshair. Now, if you want Another thing that I do is I put it at custom, and no, not like that. I'll keep the thickness all the way down, and then I'll usually turn it to like red or green, like that, so I can get a really accurate thing. Well, this is what I used to do. I just keep it at the image for now because it's a lot easier to actually see what's going on. So I'm gonna put that back to the image because I like it a lot better. It's a lot simpler, it doesn't take up as much space. And we're gonna get into gameplay here. Now, sensitivity is definitely something that you're gonna want to keep an eye on because it'll basically affect your entire aiming. So I like to keep it usually just at the average of 1.2, and with my aim being at 1. Well, this isn't the default or the average, it's just what I like, because when you have your aiming be around 1, it's still fast enough to move around, but not fast enough to where you'll miss shots. And then I like to keep this up a little bit just so when I'm looking around, I can look around quicker than when I'm aiming. And then field of view here, definitely an important one. I keep it all the way up so I can just see enemies all the way around me, because if you have it down all the way, it kind of zooms in and you only get a portion of your screen to see what's actually happening. Now, lag compensation, this doesn't really affect me, but I do just kind of keep it at 1.5. The only thing that I've seen it do is delay damage a bit. So sometimes when I do get shots off of people, I can still kill them like a split second after I die, which is a little glitchy, but it works. And then scroll direction, I keep that on. It's really just, it's not really on and off, it's either like up or down. I keep that up, and then I don't have streamer mode, challenge mode, or invert y-axis on. And we're gonna do audio while I'm here. I just keep voice volume down because I don't like hearing people complain about the game most of the time, and I usually just hop on while something else is loading. And I keep my sound at 0.2 because I don't know, that's just where I like it. And down here into view model, I have my weapon FOV all the way up because I want to be able to see where everything is around me without my weapon blocking off a giant like corner of my screen. Weapon bobbing and leaning, I have it up just a little bit over 1, just so that I can actually see a little bit of movement. You can see here there's a little bit of movement, so it doesn't look completely frozen like when you have bobbing off in Minecraft, but it's not too much to where it'll distract you or get in the way sometimes, so I think that's pretty good. And then also you can see here that there's offset. I usually keep it all the way down to the corner as much as I can, just so that it won't take up as much as the middle of the screen. And then I also have hide weapon on ADS so it doesn't interfere with my aim or distract me during aiming. And then I have all my weapons on just because I like seeing the weapon skins that I have. And then with our editing thing here, there's not too much that's actually important. Most of this is purely aesthetic, although I do like to keep my UI here. You can see with these 3 pop-up score things, I like to keep it down a little bit, like the UI scale down a little bit, and I like to keep it kind of like in the middle of the screen so it doesn't take up too much space. And you can see here with the saturation and the color hue, I just keep my color hue normal so it doesn't go like weirdly rainbow, stuff like that. And I also like to keep my saturation up a little bit so enemies will pop out more, if that makes sense, and it's a lot easier to track them, because if you don't, like if I turn my saturation all the way down, you can see the game looks really monotone and people really do blend in with the surroundings. But when you have your saturation up, then it kind of makes it so that enemies will pop out a little bit more. Now, I usually don't put it at full, but I'm gonna try it at full for like 1 life here. And honestly, it's not terrible, but it does look a little deep fried right now. So yeah, that's gonna be about it for colors. If we go down here, I'm just gonna let this guy kill me. If we go down here to like customization, I do have a sniper mod on, an intervention mod, but that's the only mod that I actually have on right now because I was just kind of trying it out. Mods are pretty fun to mess with sometimes. And anyway, I have some custom mount gen stuff, scope stuff. That's really about it. keep my auto load mods on so my mods will load automatically. And anyway, that's about it. So I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the description, or not in the description, what am I saying, the comments. What is in the description though is my settings, so I will export them into text, and you can just import them and copy and paste them into the import box, and they'll be right there for you. So that's going to be about it for the video. Thanks for watching, and yeah.